Hello, my name is Marley and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. So today, as you can see from the title, I'm going to be doing my vlog for the 12 Days of Bookmas Readathon that is being put on by Katherine Zofrea and Em and Claire over at Bookish Potatoes. I'll put links to their channels in the description. Basically, it is going on for 12 days and it's sort of like a Christmas themed readathon. Even though Christmas is done, taking place from December 26th to January 6th. So I've actually started filming this vlog already, but I haven't done the intro yet. But I just want to tell you what books I'm going to be reading for the next couple of weeks. So the first book that I'm starting out with is 12 Days of Christmas by Bayliss. This is like a British rom-com that takes place around the Christmas time. This girl, Kate, she's in her 30s and she's still single. She ends up signing up for this dating service that organizes 12 different dates for her with different men leading up to Christmas so that hopefully she will find her true love by Christmas. I've already read this one, so I'm not going to say too much more. You can just keep reading to see what I think about it. Another book I'm going to be trying to read is Heir by Maas. This is the third book in the Throne of Glass series, which many people know and love. If you guys don't know, it's a fantasy series, YA fantasy, and it follows an assassin named Selena, and there's a bunch of like fantastical things going on. You'll see me read it later. And the last book that I'm going to read is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This is like a historical fiction. I think it's about this girl who ends up living in a marsh for some reason, and then I know that it's a bit of like, I think, a mystery. Like there's a dead body and a murder, and yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the books because I want to talk about them while I read them. But yeah, there's a bunch of different challenges and prompts, so I'm going to put the list of them on the screen here so you can see, and I'll tell you which prompts I complete as I do them. And yeah, I think that's all for the intro, but I'm very excited for this readathon. It's like a fun way to end the year and also start off the new year. So let's go. Hello everyone, I'm filming an update outside to go with the winter vibes of the 12 Days of Bookmas. So I've been reading the 12 Dates of Christmas, which is the group book so far. And I think I'm at 41%, and I'm definitely getting 3-star vibes from the book. But what it's about, if you don't know, is this woman, Kate. I think she's like 34. She's still single. She signs up for this dating service where she'll get to go on 12 dates leading up to Christmas with a bunch of different men, you know, try and find her man before Christmas. And immediately, I don't want to do spoilers, but immediately I knew what was going to happen with her romance and with her love life. If you read it, you also probably know what I mean. It seems like it's going to be a very predictable romance. I have enjoyed the dates that she's been on. She's been on, I think, 6 at this point. So I enjoy those moments, but all of the other moments where she's not going on the dates, I don't really care about. I don't really care about like her job, which is like a designer, and I don't really care that much about like her baking and like other stuff. I just care about the dates. So yeah, I would say the predictability and just like it not being super interesting would make it be like a 3-star. It's sort of cute. It's not super Christmassy yet either. But yeah, if you guys don't know, I did read In the Holidays recently, which would have been like my first contemporary romance holiday book I've read. Didn't love it, and I feel like I'm not really loving this one either. So I'm thinking Christmassy contemporary books are not really my thing. And both of them, the romance seems to be very predictable. So that's how I'm feeling so far. I just wanted to update you guys on that. So yeah, so far I wouldn't really recommend it, but I will keep you updated on if there's any twists. I don't think there's gonna be, or if there's anything more interesting that happens. It's pretty cold out here. Hey guys, so I finished the 12 Dates of Christmas, which was the group read for this readathon. I think I'm like the first one to finish it because I read it in one day. Like it's only the second day of the readathon, but I really wanted to push through because I don't know like if I'll have as much time throughout the next couple weeks. But I wanted to go over what prompts / challenges it meets. It meets like quite a few of them. I think I'll pop up the picture of how many it fits as well so you can see. It fits 9 ladies dancing, read a book with a female protagonist. It fits 6 geese a laying, read while lying down, because I did read it lying down. I'll probably read like every book lying down. 3 French hens, read a book that takes place in another country because it was in the UK. And a partridge in a pear tree, which is to read the group read. So got quite a few there, but I don't think I have a bingo with that yet, surprisingly. But yeah, I finished it up on, oh, I also, isn't there one that's like, oh frick, is there actually a challenge? Sorry, it's also for 4 calling birds read during a live stream, because as you guys saw, I was reading during the first live stream reading sprint with the Bookish Potatoes and Katherine, and yeah, I finished the book during their sprints and didn't love it. I would give it probably like 3 stars. I was honestly thinking maybe 2.5 even, but I still think it was like a pretty quick and easy read. But yeah, what I enjoyed was I did like seeing Kate going on the dates. I liked seeing what each guy was going to be like and what was going to ultimately go wrong on each of the dates. I thought that was fun. However, as I think I said in my previous update, whenever she wasn't on the dates and was just living her life, I didn't enjoy that as much. The romance was just super predictable. Jenny Bayliss, I don't think is the best at writing the romance, like the actual romance and chemistry between 2 characters. The main love interest and the main character did not have very much chemistry. Like, they sometimes had banter, but even then it was not the best banter. Like, I've read books with better banter, and there were like no moments of tension, and there were no like moments that gave me any feelings. Like, I didn't feel anything reading this book. There were no moments of like, oh, she's looking at his lips, or like she's looking at him, he's looking at her. Like, there's no times where we're like in that moment and we're like, are they gonna kiss, or like anything that like would give you emotions and give you like feelings. It was a lot of dialogue and not a lot of like moments of just like describing the moment. If you know what I'm saying, if you've read the book, let me know if you get what I mean. But yeah, just not the best. So I think after reading In the Holidays and this, I might like not read any more like Christmas romances because they don't seem to be the best. But hopefully I'll be able to read more and they will be better. Hi guys, it's been a couple of days now. It's the 4th day of the readathon, so December 29th. I haven't read too much the last couple of days because I've been hanging out with my boyfriend, but I just reached 40% of Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. So if you guys don't know, this book is basically about Kaya, who is the marsh girl. So it takes place in the 50s into the 60s, and we're kind of seeing 2 timelines. So the first one is Kaya starting out at like 6 years old, and you just see all of her family abandoning her and how she has to learn to live on her own and get money for herself and get food for herself and just learn to survive in this like marshy area. And then we are also seeing into the 60s where there was a murder in this town. It was this man, and like I'm pretty sure they're gonna think that it's Kaya, who at that point I think would be in her 20s. They aren't suspecting her yet, but I think that's where it's gonna go from what I've heard. But yeah, we're seeing Kaya grow up. She's about like 16 now where I'm at. We've seen her have like a cute little romance situation, which was a little bit weird just because he was older, but like it makes sense with the times. But they were really cute and he was really nice to her. But yeah, I am definitely enjoying it. It was annoying me a little bit, the dialogue, because Kaya was not educated and she didn't know how to speak, and clearly neither was her father or any of her family members. So reading their dialogue, it was just like a lot of slang and a lot of like not proper English. But now that she has learned how to read and speak. It's a lot like better to read about. I'm definitely interested in seeing more stuff as Kaya gets older. I think it will just get more and more interesting, and I'm interested to see more about the murder that happened in the future and know what happened with that. I'm just really hoping Kaya doesn't get blamed for it if she is innocent. Maybe she's not innocent. I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this book, and I see why it is so popular and a Reese Witherspoon pick. Hey guys, so it's now been I think a couple days since I last updated this vlog. It's actually New Year's Eve today, so that's exciting, but I actually took a little break from filming this vlog to do a 24-hour readathon vlog, so go check that out. I'll either link it if it's already up, or it'll be like the next video coming out. In that video you'll see I read a couple of books, and one of the ones that I was reading was Where the Crawdads Sing. Of course, I managed to get to 72%. Basically, I'm still really enjoying it. I definitely think this is going to be a 5-star book for me. Not a shock. I think like everyone is giving it 5 stars, but this last section has just been making me feel so many different emotions. Like, I've gotten so angry at some of the characters and situations, but then there's also been like really heartwarming things that are going on. It's just one of those books that like has it all and really makes you feel a lot, and I'm really interested to know what is going to happen. I'm really scared for Kaya. She also kind of frustrates me. Like, can we take it back to when she was a kid and like the fact that she never went to school? Like, the child services government people were trying to find her and trying to get her probably like into an orphanage or adopted and get her to go to school, and she always ran away. And I'm like, I feel like her life would be so much easier if she would have just let them take her and she could have been educated in like a normal way and had a normal life. And there's a lot of talk of like loneliness in the book, and I feel like she wouldn't have been lonely if she just would have done that. Of course, obviously that wouldn't have made an interesting story. Like, I do think it's interesting reading about her learning to survive on her own, and it is very commendable, but sometimes I'm like, Kaya, just go join society if you're lonely. And I know that they have like, they call her the marsh girl, and a lot of them look down on her, and I don't think that's right. I obviously see that that's like messed up, but I also feel like she is the one that's kind of isolating herself. You know what I mean? Still, she doesn't deserve to get like accused of murder and stuff, as long as she didn't do it. Maybe she did. I don't know yet. Anyways, this is enough rambling. Since it's New Year's Eve, I maybe will show you some stuff that I'm doing tonight. Just having some people over in my circle. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, maybe I'll have B-roll of that. I don't know. I just finished Where the Crawdads Sing. So I finished it in time. It's still New Year's Eve. That makes it the last book of the year that I read, and that means I read 83 books, which is crazy. I have never read that many books before, and probably never will again. But yeah, I absolutely loved this book. No shock. I would give it 5 stars. It got very intense at the end. There was a like courtroom scene, and those are always intense. There's always those times where you're like, no, this can't be happening. The side that you don't want is like making good points, and then there's moments where like the side you like is making good points. You know, it's always very intense. Had a little bit of a interesting twist situation as well, so definitely really enjoyed this book, and I would recommend it to everyone. I'm really excited for the movie that's gonna be coming out. I've heard that it's gonna be a movie, so very exciting. Just thought I would go through for the readathon what challenges it accomplished for me. So the first one is 12 Drummers Drumming, a book with music in it. Now technically this book, after reading it, it did not have very much music in it, but the title is Where the Crawdads Sing, and it does have like a line about crawdads singing a couple times, so there's that. Then 10 Lords a Leaping, read a historical fiction. This was an historical fiction. It started in like the 50s until pretty much current day. 7 Swans a Swimming, read a book that takes place on or near water, and this was definitely there was definitely a lot of water in this book, as Kaya is constantly boating around on her little boat. And that is all. So the only challenges I have left is to listen to an audiobook, which I'm probably not going to do. I don't listen to audiobooks, we know this. The other one is read while drinking a holiday beverage, which I haven't done yet, but I have like one of those chocolate bombs, hot chocolate bombs that I'm gonna use at some point, and then reading a book with gold on the cover and reading a book with dual POV, which is going to be Heir of Fire, which I'm going to jump into next. But right now I'm gonna take a little break from reading since I did so much of it in the last couple of days. Is being really loud, so hopefully you can't hear that. Here I am. It is a new year. It's been a couple of days since I last updated, but since then it is now 2020. I had a fun New Year's Eve, got a little too intoxicated, but you know, we're fine. Wanted to update you guys. So it's now January 4th, which means there's only a couple days left of this readathon, and I took on Heir of Fire. I started it yesterday. Why did I save my biggest freaking book for the last couple days of the readathon? I don't know. I'm dumb, but here we are. I'm trying to cram in this book in the last couple days. I managed to reach a quarter of the way through just now. This was what I wanted to finish yesterday, so definitely behind schedule with that. But yeah, this is the third Throne of Glass book. For those who don't know, I read the first two and the prequel book in 2020, and I really loved them. The prequel book was like okay, but I really liked Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. This one is where people say the series takes a shift, and some people like it and some people hate it, and I definitely see what they mean. This definitely has different vibes from the first one. For one thing, we have multiple new characters and a new setting, and I feel like the fantasy elements have really ramped up. So for one thing, we have a new character that I have heard, you know, rumors about, whispers about, and that is Rowan. So I was extremely confused because in Crown of Midnight there was a character called Roland, and that's who I thought the character was that everyone loved. So when he didn't have a major part in Crown of Midnight, I was like, oh, like I guess he just gets a bigger part later in the books. So when Rowan showed up in this, I was like, that's not the guy from the previous book. And then I checked, and it's different people. It's Roland was the guy from before, and this is Rowan, and he's a new character. So first of all, that really confused me, but now I understand. Rowan, he's this guy. He is he's okay. I think he's the guy most people ship Selena with, the main character. I don't have an opinion on that yet. So then we also have some new POVs, as I said. One of them is Manon, I believe is how you say it. And I think I've heard people say good things about her, like they really like her. However, for me, I'm like falling asleep at her chapters. I'm mostly falling asleep because I'm really tired because it was the first day back to work today. So was not used to waking up this early anymore. So that was one reason, but also her chapters are just like the most confusing to me. This whole book, I'm like kind of having trouble following what's going on, I'll be honest. But especially Manon's chapters, I'm just like not as interested in that storyline. Maybe that will change, but I definitely prefer the Selena POVs and ones that have to do with Dorian. Kale is like okay, but Dorian is my favorite, in case you didn't know. Just judging on what I've read so far, I don't know if I'm going to like this new direction that the series is taking, just because of those kind of things I've mentioned about finding it confusing and stuff. But hopefully I will like Rowan as we get to know him more, and hopefully just as the plot ramps up, I will enjoy it more. I also actually listened to a couple chapters of the audiobook because of the fact that my eyes were so tired. I just put on the audiobook to rest my eyes, so I actually will be able to complete that challenge for the readathon, that is to read an audiobook. Hopefully a couple chapters counts. I might listen to more of the audiobook at another point. I just don't like it. Like I felt like my comprehension was not very good when I was listening to it, so I don't really want to listen to more, but I might if I just like keep being really sleepy. But yeah, that's how this book's going. Okay, so I just read chapter 22, and I officially ship Selena and Rowan. I'm here for it. Hello guys. I'm going to be attempting to make my hot beverage for the readathon. For one of the prompts is to drink a holiday beverage. Holidays are kind of over at this point, but I'm going to be doing my hot chocolate bomb that I got for Christmas because I haven't done that yet. And I think I'm going to use this mug that I also got for Christmas. It's me, my mom, and my sister. Very cute. So hopefully I can do this right. We'll see. So I think it worked. It's just like, does the chocolate eventually all melt? Like, it's just all clumps of chocolate in there. I guess I'll keep mixing it. Okay, it did seem to all mix in, so. That's good. That's really chocolatey though. Could mix it in a little better. Well, this is good. This is fun. So I just want to say a quick note of something that I think is kind of cringy in this book, and see if like anyone that's watching this noticed this too. But sometimes Selena, the main character, and Rowan they'll growl at each other and they just like interpret it as like a full sentence. Like, I'll just say this one, it shouldn't be spoilery, but it goes, "Only for the afternoon he seemed to growl as he pressed the hilt into her open palm." It's in italics and it's not in quotes, so he didn't say it. It was just like, he seemed to growl it. And I'm like, is she interpreting that from his growl? And then it goes, "She yanked down the dagger. I know. I haven't earned my weapons back yet. Don't get your feathers ruffled." Again, like in italics, not in quotes. It just seems cringy. Like, how are they interpreting this full-on sentence from a gesture? Like, it would be one thing if it was like she interpreted that he meant like no or yes or something, but to interpret "only for the afternoon" from his growl, hopefully you understand what I mean. I just think it's like cringy. Like, if it's not in quotes, they're not saying it, but they can't read each other's minds either. Like, how is she interpreting that? And then how is he interpreting this full sentence from just her gestures? I just did it again. So he narrowed his eyes. I just said I did. She stood and he retreated a step. What changed her mind? Some things are worth the risk. I don't understand. Like, is his eyes narrowing saying that? Because why not just put it in quotes like a normal sentence? But they can't read each other's mind. That's not like a plot thing. That's not a power between them, I don't think. So what is happening here? It's a little more spoilery, but it goes, "He tried to keep her from reading this on his face. It doesn't matter," blah, 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 like a whole sentence. Like, that's on his face? This whole long sentence? Alright, so it is officially the last day of this readathon, and this is how far I am into Heir of Fire. I don't know if I'm going to finish tonight, as it is already a little bit into the evening, and I've been reading for a while. I think I have like a quarter left. So what are my thoughts? I definitely am not enjoying it as much as the first two books. I definitely see what people mean when they say that this is different and the series takes like a different turn, and some people like it and some people don't, and I feel like I don't really like it that much. I found a lot of what's going on in the plot and stuff to be confusing. That might also be because it's been so long since I read the last book. Manon, I found so boring for most of this book. Like, I was literally falling asleep trying to like skim her chapters almost because I just wasn't super interested in them. I'll admit for the second half of the book now I am more interested in them and more invested. We also, I feel like, are getting more Selena scenes or chapters, and I just really prefer to read about her. So that's been good, and we actually have some action ramping up. I'm thinking I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. I think I'll still continue the series. I don't think I'm gonna be someone who gives up because that's just not who I am. I do like Selena's relationship with Rowan a lot. I feel like she's more likable around him, and I just really liked that part of the book. I think that would be my favorite. We also are seeing very little of Dorian, which is sad, but those moments are also my favorite when we actually do get to see him. But yeah, I do want to know like what ends up happening in this series because I am invested, but I definitely find this to be very long, very boring at parts, and just like dragged out. We'll see if I can finish it tonight. Probably not, but we are gonna try. I officially finished Heir of Fire. What is the date? January 7th. So technically I did cheat this readathon a little bit as I extended it for myself by 1 day. But if you guys remember, I did take a day off from the readathon to do my own 24-hour readathon, so it kind of balances out. But no one cares. I did grow to really like Selena's relationship with Rowan. Like, we really saw character development with her. And I think Rowan is a very solid guy. I really like his character, and I look forward to seeing how things progress. They are very platonic right now. Okay, this is sort of mild spoiler, so maybe I'll put a warning about that. Pretty platonic, so very interested to see how things will develop and who Selena will get with romantically from here. Dorian, my son, like, he's going through so much and I just feel so bad. Like, he's my favorite, as I've already said, and I just feel really bad. The ending, the very ending was really exciting. I really liked the end. I was like, why wasn't this whole book like this? Why didn't we cut out some of this middle crap? So it definitely ended on a positive note for me, which was good because now I'm like kind of pumped to keep reading the series with each of the characters we were following. I thought everything was interesting in each different setting that we have. So that was a good way to end this, but I did end up giving it 3.5 stars just because wasn't quite it for me. So let's go through which prompts we finished off. Spoiler alert, I completed all of the prompts with a hint of cheating, as we already saw. So Heir of Fire, technically I completed 11 Piper's Piping, listened to an audiobook as I listened to a few chapters of Heir of Fire on audio. 8 Maids of Milking, read while drinking a holiday beverage. You guys saw me make my hot chocolate and I read while I drank that. 5 Gold Rings, read a book with gold on the cover. 2 Turtle Doves, read a book with dual POV. As I've said, this has multiple POVs. So we finished this readathon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. I definitely enjoyed it. Thank you, Katherine and Em, for hosting. Obviously my favorite book that I read for this was Where the Crawdads Sing. Then it would be Heir of Fire, and last it would be 12 Days of Christmas. I think that's all I have to say. So please subscribe. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. That would be so amazing for me. And like and comment as well. And I will see you guys in my next video. Oh, and I never mentioned I upload Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes only Tuesday. I never mentioned that. But anyways, so I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.